Heyo, this is Madhouse.
And this is the final boosh.
Finally, some stability in fighting games.
But it's not all perfect. Today we're covering Virtua Fighter 5 R.E.V.O.
What about now? It's time to rock with the biggity buck bumper. What about now? It's time to rock with the biggity buck bumper. Bump to the bump to the bump to the bass. Bump to the bump to the bumper. Bump to the bump to the bump to the bass. Bump to the bump to the bump.
Ready, go!
Let's quickly go over the presentation here because I feel there's not a whole lot to say. It looks just like the PS4 version of the game, Ultimate Showdown, right? And except you can play at a higher resolution this time. Character models look fine. They're all remodeled with the Dragon engine, so it works for some, don't work for others. Backgrounds look great. Music is still good. UI design is okay. It's not my favorite look for Virtua Fighter, and I hope
it's like an upscale PS3 game.
Yeah, I wouldn't go that far. It definitely looks better.
I'm not saying that I'm not saying that looks bad, but you can tell that it came from another generation.
Yeah, I guess.
There's only but so much you can do with the models that old.
But yeah, that's why we're not really paying a whole lot of attention to this one. This is probably gonna be like a shorter video anyway. It looks fine. It looks fine. Everything looks fine. But like I said, it's not anything to hoop and holler about. It looks like Virtua Fighter Ultimate Showdown,
which is not a bad looking game to begin with.
Yeah.
So I guess we can just keep pushing on.
Yeah.
It's Virtua Fighter. We played the game in the past. We played it a lot now. What do you think about the game?
It's just like you said. It's Virtua Fighter. I think it's one of the best, if not the best, fighting game series out there when it comes to
share gameplay.
Yeah, like share gameplay as what you want out of a fighting game. I know it's 3D. I'm not going to be comparing it to Street Fighter and whatnot. But
you can compare it to
Tekken
mechanically. To Street Fighter. You can compare every game mechanically.
Well, yeah, okay. So mechanically, there's not a whole lot going on because the game doesn't rely on system mechanics.
The game relies on character design and decision making.
It just relies on your decision making, and it feels good to make a bad call and get punished for it. Because, there's this big stretch today with modern fighting games to try to make weaker players feel stronger.
Shallow characters, overbearing mechanics.
Yeah. It's just like, and it's so nice just to play a fighting game that allows you to, with rollback anyway, that allows you to fucking just play it and there's no bullshit involved. There's no fucking guess here. We reduce skill by guessing. There's no pop a mechanic to become a
Mongoloid
or Mongoloid. I guess that's a more media safe version of it. To become a Mongoloid for 40 seconds where you have to hold nonstop pressure. It's none of that, man. It's your dick punches, your whiff punishers, your combos, your bounders, your spacing. This game has one of the best utilizations of walls in the 3D fighting game. It's all that nice stuff, man.
Virtua Fighter is very brass tacks, and I know it can be overwhelming to new people, but it's not a complex game.
It's not. My only real beef.
Hell, it might be on the same tier of complexity of the other games, but it's the way it's handled as opposed to the way the more modern games are handled.
My only real complaint with Tekken, my only real complaint with Virtua Fighter is the way that there's only 2 attack buttons. So movesets are a little more convoluted than something like Tekken.
Yeah, because it's easier to forget something when there's only like 2 main attack buttons.
Right, and okay, this one is forward in PK, and then this is punch forward K, and then there's visual noise there.
Mind you how many times I was trying to find Hypnotist? Couldn't find it.
So yeah, this isn't anything again. This is just what the series is, right? So I'm not blaming. This is not like, oh man.
No, it's just a nitpick.
Yeah, just a nitpick.
Nothing against the game.
I feel as though making another attack button would be nice, I guess, because it just kind of helps with variety and it makes command lists look less intimidating because it's not a sea of
PKs,
blue P and red K and green G. Where in Tekken you have left punch, right punch,
purple,
right kick,
pink,
left kick. All these other, so your mind.
It's inducive to memorization.
Okay, if I want to do this move in Tekken and it starts with X, which I forget which one it is.
I think X is blue.
I think that's left kick.
Oh,
so I look at a move in Tekken. I'm like, okay, I want to do this low. I know it's associated with either X or circle, so let me try X. Okay, X is the button, so it's back and X. So like there's like a thought process there. In VF, if I want to do a kick, yeah, there's a kick, but if I want to do a specific kick, it's PK or KG.
PK fire.
It's just kind of noisy, I feel, but that's not anything against the series. That's something that's always been doing. There's no way in hell I can reprimand the game for something that's always been doing.
Yeah, you can't hang it off what you got issues with.
Otherwise, fantastic. If I'm going to rate the game just off the gameplay alone, it's a 4.5 to a 5. Simple. It's simple gameplay. I like it that it's one of these systems where you learn as you go.
Yeah, it's constant. Again, comparing it to modern games where the characters are simple, system mechanics are overbearing. So, and on top of that, it's a cap to how far you can actually go.
It's not even that. It just feels like in modern fighting games, training mode is a suggestion.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's a cap. Like characters are built in a specific way that you have to play, and once you find that way, that's the way. That's the linear way everybody go with that character. But there's no expression that is not a Virtua Fighter.
But what I mean is where training mode is a suggestion because of the said hand-holdy and build out mechanics and the guessing nature of the fighting game, where you could go to training mode, but not really.
You don't really need it.
In this game, yes, training mode is also a suggestion per se, but it adds to the game, right? Like it's fun labbing things out. Like you get beat by something, you pick the character and you learn it, because movesets are long. They're like Tekken. They're like long, but they're not too long.
Again, the game isn't complicated. The game is very similar to stuff like SF6 where you're either negative or you're positive. The game is not like super, this is like plus 10, but at this point it's plus 20. Like, it's not all that. Virtua Fighter is a very negative and positive game. So it can be done right.
Right.
It can absolutely be done right.
Ready, go!
So we talked about the presentation, we talked about the gameplay, and that's pretty much it, really.
R.E.V.O is a very, very shallow package.
Which is probably its biggest issue, which I guess you can argue that it's a port.
I don't remember previous VFs. Have they always been lacking in content like this?
No. In older VF games, you had quest mode, you had arcade mode, you had time attack, you had survival, you had score attack, you had all the, remember, Virtua Fighter is one of the earliest games that they had character customization.
Oh yeah, it did, and they still have a pretty good one in this game.
And that was before it got like super popular, like it is nowadays. I know the game doesn't get its flowers for it, but it did start the whole character customization thing.
It either started,
but
it either started or it was like one of the first ones.
To my knowledge, this and Tekken 5, which Tekken 5 probably got from Virtua Fighter, is one of the earliest games that dealt with, like in my head, that I've interacted with a character customization system of some kind.
Well, the character customization is still in the game.
Yeah, I don't know. Like
everything else is missing.
Yeah, everything else is missing. Like there's nothing here, and I feel as though that's a problem. And like I said, you can argue that it's a port. It doesn't really need it. It's about online and the verses. But this is 2025. I don't understand. Like they had time with this game.
It had a beta.
They had a good amount of time with this game. So I don't understand why they can't throw in a couple of game modes to at least keep people busy. Like I said,
I don't think it's hard to program those modes in. It's like,
yeah, I'm not asking.
They all essentially the same thing, right?
I'm not asking for an NRS fucking story mode, and I'm not asking for World Tour mode. But like, you could add it like a shitty.
Well, they have Virtual Request, and that's technically World Tour.
Well, it's called Virtual Quest is the spinoff.
I thought it was Virtual. I mean, but it was like World Tour.
It was Quest mode.
It was like World Tour though.
No, it was like Treasure mode from Tekken.
Oh, so didn't they have like an adventure game type of thing?
That's Virtual Quest.
Or that's Virtual Kids.
That's like Virtual Kids is just Sonic the Fighters, but Virtual Fighter.
Oh, okay. We gotta play that.
Virtual Quest is like the weird RPG. That's kind of like actually
World Tour. Like I was saying.
Like, you're right.
Yeah, that's what they got it from.
But I never played Virtual Quest. So
we were too young.
But we're getting off topic.
Yeah.
So but that's it. That's there's a tournament mode you can do, and that's like governed by certain times. So that's whatever. You got an arcade mode. Okay.
Practice
online
and customization. And that's pretty much it.
That's about all you got. And to be fair, it's $15. right?
Yeah, but it's like if they would have got the, everything, they would have got the main thing right that the game's supposed to be about, you wouldn't hear me bitching at all, now would you?
I know. It just feels like they should have added a lot more to the package, because this is the game that's leading up to Virtua Fighter 6.
Yes, first impressions are everything.
So you would want to say, oh, look how many modes we got going on here. And we always say we're a big supporter of, if you want casuals to like your game, game modes will babysit them.
Babysit them. Do not make your game to cater to them. You can make, no, I'm not saying you can't make a simple game, but I'm not saying you can't make a simple game. But you can make a simple, fun game. Like, it's not impossible. You can have your cake and eat it too.
Well, how we learned Virtua Fighter, I think we got it around Virtua Fighter 3, Virtua Fighter 4, I think, around the PS2 era.
Yeah.
So we didn't learn right off the bat how to play the game. It was shit like quest mode, that
survival,
interesting modes. Not gonna be like super interesting, but if you're a kid, you're dumb enough to sit there and do it anyway, right? Before you understand what a training mode is, understand what a delayed wake up is. So you're just playing with these single player modes, and these single player modes will teach people how to play. Instead of dumbing down your game, why don't you put in comprehensive tutorials told in an interesting way? This has been done to,
and you don't even have to do that no more, because we got people on YouTube and Facebook and TikTok and all that bullshit that would teach people how to play these games. So either way, we live in information age. If we can learn fighting games back then when it was practically the dark ages, all right, it wasn't that deep, but in
terms of communication,
it was slower at least.
Yeah.
It wasn't non-existent, but it was slower. Back then we had dial-up connections. If we can learn those games during that time,
or just single player alone,
or and then have modes to help us hone our skills and have games interesting and deep enough for us to be like, I want to learn more. And that's another issue.
And that's what it was like. Virtua Fighter was like, man, I can keep eating off this game. And then as you get older, if you end up liking fighting games, you'll just naturally learn how to play them if you like the genre. I don't get what this idea is of trying to force people to like a genre. Not everything is for everybody. But that doesn't mean that people who don't know how to play have to be alienated. Just have those people learn in a different way. And if they want to stick with the game to learn it deeper, they will. If they don't, they'll move on.
You can't do that no more. It's all about attention spans and placating. It's all it's about.
Yeah. But with that being said, this game has nothing to it. So
no, this game barren.
Yeah.
I assume you're ready.
I'll show you what combat's all about.
So a little bit back, I mentioned if they did the right thing the first time, I wouldn't be bitching about the modes. What is that thing?
I'm assuming you mean the netcode.
Bingo.
And it's a mixed bag. The first day was definitely rough, and I couldn't tell if it was the netcode or the rollback provided by Sega or idiots just on Wi-Fi.
It's all three probably.
But the second time and the third time we started playing it, we played it a lot more online. It felt better. Like it was still weird, like 180 millimeter,
like ping and shit.
Yeah, ping. But it felt solid. When the netcode is very hit and miss. When it works, it really, really works. When it misses, you're going to have a bad time.
You want to know what really missed? What? The matchmaking.
The matchmaking, I think, is the worst thing about this.
That was single-handedly like the worst experience I've ever had with like a game that's supposed to be functioning.
All this footage, when it comes to online, we had to wait 15 to damn near like 15 to 20 minutes for a match, and that's when the search criteria opened to almost everything.
Yeah, you did put it there. At first we had it really particular,
Yeah, like
good connection,
good connection, no real rage quits.
Either my rank or higher.
And I usually set my ranks to higher ranks so I can fight stronger opponents right away. I don't care about taking a loss and shit.
So if that's taking a bit, yeah, okay, cool. But when you put it on any,
it took longer.
Like literally, if you go to the dial and set it on horror mode and take all comers, it's just, why did it take 15 to 20 minutes to find a match? And when it did find a match, why was every connection like, I don't know.
It's not every connection. We played a good share of good matches. Like I said, it's very hit and miss.
Well, didn't you say that they lie?
So when you accept a match, or before you accept a match, there's this thing like, okay, here's their connection, right?
Yeah.
And it's a green, red, and yellow, right?
But you said it's not accurate.
So you'll get it, and they'll be like, here's a match. And then the ping will say it's green. So green is around what, 60 to 80?
I don't
probably
know.
40 to 60. That's about like I keep saying millimeter. That's about the ping range, right? 40 to 80 for a green. But if you're too hasty, it's not actually a green connection. It openly lies to you. You have to sit there and wait for about
5 or 6 seconds.
10 seconds, 5 seconds until the actual netcode shows itself. In most cases, it's red.
Yeah, it'd be like The Simpsons, it'd be all green.
So
and then it turn red, like beep, 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 beep.
You don't know the background,
Yeah.
you don't realize. Yeah, so that gets frustrating when you don't know the trick, right? And half the time I'm like, what the fuck? And that's why I was thinking the netcode was bad. Because half the time I would hit a green connection. Wow, green connection. Let me click this right away.
Mash start, slideshow, stop motion.
And that's why you thought the netcode was bad. And that's why you had such a negative opinion about it.
Well, technically it is bad if it's lying
not
to
bad.
you.
The matchmaking is just stupid. And it takes forever.
So they don't have Wi-Fi filters?
They don't have Wi-Fi filters. They're just going to put in a matchmaking range of worldwide or same region. So apparently they probably match you up with Japanese players and shit.
Like, you had a beta. What did you do this entire time?
But otherwise,
and don't get me wrong.
I'm sorry.
It's an older game, right? Retrofit and rollback is difficult.
I'm not here to say that they didn't care, right? They obviously cared. They squeezed the rollback into this old ass game and charged you $15 for base for it. Or I don't know how much it is now. Probably 30 now, right? That was on sale when the game was on its way to come up. So I don't know how much it is now, but we got it for $15.
I don't know, man. Look, first impressions are everything.
They obviously cared though.
Yeah, I'm not saying they did. It's just weird.
Yeah, it's weird.
First impressions are everything. Okay, look at Street Fighter V. No matter how Street Fighter V came out, you was worried about Street Fighter 6 because of the way Street Fighter V started, right?
Yeah.
And then looking at Street Fighter 6 now, right?
Well, Street Fighter 6 put his best foot forward and then stumbled.
Yeah. But what I mean is, it
was only concentrated on launching better than Street Fighter 5.
But looking at Street Fighter 6 now, no matter how it ends, if it ends to be the best game ever, you still going in Street Fighter 7 with
reprehension.
Reprehension. Look at MK 11. Oh, MKX was great. MK 11 gonna be a banger.
It's just Virtua Fighter made me feel like I was playing a 2009 game when it came to netcode. When it came to matchmaking, more appropriately.
Nice for nostalgia, bad for practicability.
So I'm just sitting there waiting for matches, and then the matches will lie to me, and I'll think it's green, and then it's a 200 ping match with 4 to 5 frames of rollback. So he's teleporting and pooping around while I can't react to anything.
I love the Sophie choice. The situations we had where we was waiting so long for a match, you're like, oh, it's green, then it turned red, and we literally sit there like, should we take it?
Well, you know on the PS4 version, the Ultimate Showdown,
yeah,
they had it was delay based, but they had that relay system.
That was probably better.
That was kind of biased, so everybody called it racist netcode, right? I'm pinging this one. I'm quoting this one. I'm coining this one. Monkey's paw netcode.
Yeah.
So you either get a good connection or you don't. And if you get a good connection, it's usually a bad player.
Yeah.
And when you get a bad connection, it's usually a good player.
Monkey's paw.
So, but overall though, it's I don't want to say
it's definitely not fine.
It's definitely not
something
fine.
had to be done. Maybe because it's too little of the community is small.
The actual netcode itself, like I said, is inconsistent. But when it does work, I don't have any issues. It's all the things surrounding that. Getting to a match is the hardest part of the game.
Like, please don't sit on your hands, Sega. Just whoever in charge of this, don't sit on your hands. Please fix this netcode. There are people. You have an opportunity right now. You have an opportunity to put Virtua Fighter back on the mark. You know what I mean? Back on the map, mark, whatever.
Man, we messing about all kinds of expressions today.
But the thing is, like, for example, SNK is taking their shot. You know what I mean? SNK can get relevant.
SNK went through their training arc. They had KOF 14, they had KOF 15, they had Samurai Showdown, and now they're ready to take that leap.
Yeah, ready to take that leap.
Or Fatal Fury, whatever the fuck is being called, right? So this is their attempt. This is their shot.
The second shot.
Sega, this is your shot. Virtua Fighter 6 is your shot. But, I mean, I feel as though R.E.V.O, not exactly Ultimate Showdown, but this version, the PC version, that has no crossplay, mind you.
Well, if it got, I heard the PlayStation got delay base, right?
Yeah, I think it still retained the thing. Oh, this is also a balance patch too.
Oh yeah.
So there's no crossplay. There's no Wi-Fi filters. There's no real game modes. You should have put your foot into this game.
I don't see how crossplay will help that.
I would have waited longer. I would have waited longer and paid longer. Oh my god. I would have waited longer and paid more for a more complete version of this game, because like I said, this is the game. I don't know if I said it already, but this is the game leading into VF6.
And first impressions, man. People. If you get some new people, like this is a new era of fighting games. You can't just come out right now. You are facing people who play less. I'm gonna did up lesser games that don't expect much out the player. We can both agree with that.
I guess I can say that. Yeah.
So we are playing. You are playing games with people with virtually no attention spans.
And mind you, after reading interviews and hearing these, the guys come out with a video talking about how they were handling the balance of this older game, I'm confident that they won't go the way of a MK1, a Tekken 8, or Street Fighter 6.
Make fighting games great again.
So I'm kind of glad. I don't think we have to worry about what the game would be. The package, I'm more worried about the package.
Again, you are fighting for people who do not have attention spans nowadays.
Sega,
if you don't press a button and somebody don't explode, it's an issue.
Sega, I think Sega's mindset, if we're going off tangent, because we're pretty much done here, right?
Yeah, we're pretty much wrapping. We got the score. That's that.
Yeah, so Sega, I think it's most important for Sega to just, I don't want to say come at it at a loss, right? But you're coming in really late in the game here. So I think they should come in with the mindset of we're going to come in, we're going to get our players
and sit on it.
Don't try to cast a wide ass net.
Because remember, if you come, and I know I keep saying it, you come in enshrined to be a fighting game. That's not going to cut it nowadays.
If you build it, they will come. It may not be a whole lot of people.
It may not be. You're not going to make $1 million.
You're not going to be Tekken.
You're not going to make.
Please don't try to be Tekken. You're not Tekken. You will never see Tekken's audience. Virtua Fighter has been out of the zeitgeist for more than almost 20 years. Hell, we're still on VF5.
VF5 been out since we was in high school.
So you're not going to get Tekken's fan base. So don't even try.
You're not going to get Street Fighters. You're not going to get MKs. You're not going to sell 1 million copies. It's going to sell a couple of thousand, maybe 100,000, but you're not going to get 1 million.
Just make the best damn VF game you can, and then word of mouth will do the rest. Because when all these games start to get boring, which they're already showing their age already. They're already showing the repetitive.
Well, I think already. MK1 is okay.
MK1 is the least bad out of them all. I know that's heresy.
Fuck what people say.
Gameplay wise, it's the least worse. It's not the worst one.
No. Gameplay wise, I think it's one of the, if not the strongest.
But yeah, Sega, AM2,
whomever.
Don't try to chase coattails. Just do what you are good at. Just do what we already know you can do. Yeah, and then don't worry about everybody else.
Don't worry about making 1 million, because it's not going to happen.
It's not going to happen.
Unless your press is crazy or somebody got some big ass titties, it's not going to happen. So just be happy what you get. You're coming in making a fighting game. That's hard enough nowadays. Yeah. While everything else want to be a party game.
And no, it's not even that. Everything else gets shat on because it's not a legacy title. Yeah. Diesel got shat on because it's not a legacy title. I know Dina of Duel isn't technically a legacy title, but people hated that game for whatever reason.
Technically it is.
So like there's weird little hangups where people in the community will accept this game, but for some reason this doesn't work. And it's all weird, but I've heard plenty of people talk shit about like, oh, well, this game doesn't have something, so I don't like it. So and Virtua Fighter might as well be a new IP. to a whole lot of these people, it's going to be a new IP.
All you gotta do is make Cowboy and Kara good.
But we're on a tangent. Let's get to the score.
Yeah. All right, we rambled enough. Let's hear your score.
Okay, so this isn't against like the gameplay or anything, right? I'm judging R.E.V.O as a package.
Yeah, R.E.V.O, we judging what we pay money for.
Like I said earlier, if it was just like ranking off the gameplay, it's damn near perfect for me. But I'm going to be nice here, since the game is Virtua Fighter, and I'll be fair, I'm operating out of bias. I'm going to give the game a 3.5 out of 5.
I mean, it's fair. But like, once again, similar to like we were talking to Diesel.
Yeah.
How I spend more time waiting than playing. I can't stand that shit. So I'm gonna have to give the game like a 2.5. Once again, it's nothing to do about the gameplay. Gameplay is phenomenal. Game is great.
But the game's entire claim to fame is having rollback netcode.
And if you didn't get it right, like how can I congratulate you?
No, it's not about it getting right because it's solid. It's just getting to matches is difficult, and that's going to be patched hopefully eventually. But we have no way of telling because I don't know where Sega is in this department.
I don't know. I know I gave it a 2.5. We spent more time waiting for matches than actually playing.
So with that being said, Virtua Fighter 5 R.E.V.O clocks in at a TCB score of a 6.
There's really no pros and cons seeing what the game is. Like, if it had to be pros and cons, the pros would be, well, rollback netcode. For whatever it is, it's still rollback.
Yeah.
And another pro would be, it's Virtua Fighter. It's an amazing fucking 3D fighter. Go play it.
And the only real cons is fixing matchmaking.
Yeah, that's all. Fix your shit, Sega.
The rollback itself is fine. When everything is working, when you get a good connection, the game is fine. I'm not going to judge the game completely for what could potentially be people on Wi-Fi. I can't just
filters would be nice,
but I can definitely judge you for not having filters, not having proper matchmaking queuing,
the quality of life shit,
quality of life stuff that everybody does nowadays. Well, I guess Japanese companies still have a thing about Wi-Fi like things
because their Wi-Fi good because they're all on island.
Well, it's not that. It's more of they don't want to segregate the player base. Where this side is Wi-Fi, so they'd rather just have you just play Wi-Fiers and just guess. To my knowledge, like I don't really play these modern fighting games a whole lot. MK definitely has Wi-Fi filters, so I don't have to worry about that. But let me ask you a question.
What?
Would you recommend R.E.V.O
right now?
Yeah.
How much do it cost?
I'm assuming it costs $30.
15 or 30, I wouldn't recommend it at all.
Really?
Not right now. No.
Really? It's not that bad.
It's not the fact that it's that bad. It's the fact that you gotta look at it from like for example, if I'm a new guy trying to get into Virtua Fighter,
okay,
it's gonna be very tough for me to get into Virtua Fighter if I have to wait 20 minutes per match. Did we mention that it can crash? Not physically, yeah. But your Wi-Fi, when you search for a match.
It's not constant. It's not consistent by any means, but you will get the occasional drop match because of weird issues with the infrastructure or whatever, what have you.
So you could be sitting 20 minutes for a match, and all you had to do is just leave out and come back in.
Oh, that's what you mean.
That's what I mean.
Yes. Sometimes the matchmaking will shit itself, and you have to sit there and quit out the menu and reactivate matchmaking in order to give it another shot. And since matchmaking lasts so long, you'll never know.
You'll never know. It's a guess.
It's a complete guess.
So I would say if you're doing it after about 3 minutes of no matches, just go back out and do it again.
It might be because matchmaking shit the bit.
But I would not recommend this game right now. No. If a patch come out and they we fixed the matchmaking or rollback is more stable or something of that nature, of course I'll watch it. Because I'll suggest it. Because more people deserve to play this game. It's a fantastic game, and it's going to teach people what fighting games used to be.
I would recommend it.
Right now, I still would sort of recommend it, but I can't recommend it to somebody. I can't recommend it over Street Fighter. I can't recommend it over Tekken. I can't recommend it over MK. These games work. These games work, and they're less impactful on your soul. You pick up and play games.
I guess, but I mean, I still recommend Virtua Fighter. I think the matchmaking is and you say I'm not saying you would rather play these games, but I'd rather deal with VF's bullshit than play Street Fighter 6.
I would sit in the burning house and play Street Fighter 6.
I'm just being honest. I'm just being honest with you. I would rather deal with waiting 15 minutes or just join a room. Join a room. That way you instantly get a match.
I know, but it's not 100% guaranteed. And sometimes you want to play a game. Sometimes you want to cut it on.
All right, I get you. But I will still play VF over any of these other games.
Off of gameplay, I highly recommend Virtua Fighter. If you never played it before, pull out some guides. You'll have fun.
Put on a podcast while you're waiting for your match, and you're good to go. I recommend this game. I don't think it's anywhere near as crazy as you think it is. I do think it's irritating. I don't think it's as bad. I don't think.
Yeah, but you got to think about it from a newbie perspective.
I don't care about a newbie. I'm playing the game. I paid $15. I'm waiting for my matches, and I'd rather play this game. I'm done.
We out.
See you next time.
See you.